Now another sum is conduct. If we have good conduct during the teachings, how the listener has seeks to transcendent. Therefore, now is the 6 transcendent perfections. Here is during the teachings, practice Dharma, if we have good conduct, and then these listeners has naturally doing the 6 transcendent, 6 and transcendent perfections, and transcendent, like transcend one place to others. Like we can to say it's like transport from one shore to other shore perfectly, safely, authentically. And now we are like cross the man's ocean of the suffering, the water of the samsara, or the ocean of the samsara, and we need to rely on the great ship of these 6 transcendent. If we rely on the 6 transcendent, any 6 transcendent perfections, we can easily to come across the ocean of the samsara. Like this, the 6 transcendent perfection is the activity of bodhisattvas. And also 6 transcendent perfection is or are the path of the liberation, and most precious path, most the important path. These paths can lead to ours, direct the other side of the omniscient, and therefore we call the transcendent perfections. And then in the center of 1000 collect comprehension of the instructions on all Dharma practice, it says, this translation is correct? In the center of the thorough comprehension of the instructions on all Dharma practice, it says, I don't know, this is a source of the quotation, it is the Abhisamaya Lonkara, the Pajina Paramata. Why it says the Tangta and the thorough comprehension of the instruction on all Dharma practice, that maybe is okay, but Tangta is Chushu tanchi di me ngamba topu je sejit jo yamba di mara. Ngoto je mars. Marion. Huh? Yo mardo? Oh. Anginda ngato janya to so. Chushu TWOMPT. Menga number to fujian. Okay. Maybe it's I may say it is some in the tantras. I thought it's the Abhisamaya Lonkara. It's maybe it's correct. And Chushu TWOMPT ngato jens. Okay, ngato jet. Okay la. Not to do that. Okay. Why? Okay, what they are saying. Make excellent offerings such as the flower and the cushions. Put the place in order and control your behaviors. Do not harm any living beings. Have genuine faith in your teacher. Listen to his instructions without restriction and question him in order to dispel your doubts. These are the 6 transcendent perfections of the listeners. The listeners naturally perfected the 6 transcendent. First, to preparing the temple, to nice clean up offerings, put nice cushions. It is the great perfection, or the transcendent perfection of the generosities. And in order to control your behaviors, that is the great transcendent perfection of the discipline. And do not harm any living beings, whatever happened, very carefully. And that is the great, I think, is the patience, the transcendent of the perfections. And also listen to faithfully to the teachers without distractions. Instructions without distractions is the transcendent of the meditative concentration. Question him whatever we have doubt, and to take out. This is the transcendent of the wisdoms. Therefore, when we listen to the teaching very well, and then is this perfection or 6 transcendent naturally complete the doer or a listener of the dharmas. Then is more explanations. Prepare the teacher's seat, arrange cushion, open it, offer a mandala, flower and other offerings. This is the practice of the generosity. Sweep clean the place or room after the carefully settling the dust with water and very carefully, and refrain from all the disrespectful conduct. Do not hurting to any others. This is the practice of perfection, the transcendent of the discipline. Avoid harm to living beings, even the smallest of the insects, and bear heat, cold, and all other difficulties. This is the practice of the patient. Lay aside any wrong views. concerning the teacher and the teachings, and listen joyfully with genuine faith. Of course, this is the practice of diligent, because it's like joyfully to listen to the teachings. Joyful is the essence of the transcendent diligent. Listen to the Lama's instruction without distraction. This is the practice of the concentration, the parameter of the concentration. Ask questions to clear up any hesitations and doubts. This is the practice of wisdoms. It is very important, whatever we have hesitations, doubt, to clarify it from our teachers. And a person listening to the teachings should practice the six transcendent perfection in this kind of the ways. And that is the very much great conduct, naturally complete the great activity of the six transcendent. When we listen to the dharmas, there are such benefit and such virtues. And why we can to say, when you are listen to the dharma, you listen to the explanation of the compassions and wisdoms. And when you listen to the compassions, and you are thinking about our own individual characteristics or the secret defects. And when we are thinking about the defects, and according to the listen teaching of the compassions, changing process of the negative movement, Buddhist speech mind is, it is great generosities. That is the best generosities. And we say it's like kind of we need generosities by the belongings. This is not only that. When we make the generosities through the Buddhi belonging virtues, and through the Buddhi, particularly behaviors and the movement of the Buddhi speech, and through showing to others very kindly, cheerful, happy, enthusiastic, and saying something very love word, kindness word, good things, saying the virtues. And these things are the compassion activity and the great also generosities. And when we listen to the teaching of Dharma, which is explanation of the compassions, and we're talking about negative and the positive movements, stop the negative, adopt the positive things. And that is the great benefit for both ourselves and others. And naturally, through the knowledge, through the understanding the situation of the both, there's the self-discipline. Discipline of the 10 positive actions to keep, discipline, self-discipline to stop the 10 negative actions. It is the great transcendent perfections of the discipline. And also, when we listen to the dharmas, which is the explanation of the compassion, and we understood others, sentient beings, how much they have thick, ignorant, disturbing emotions, and they don't know which is the cause of the happiness, which is the cause of the sufferings. And we understood that through our wisdoms. And whatever they disturb to us, we have great compassion, patience. Like same as we are mother, those are child. That is, the listeners has automatically compassion activity, which is the perfect transcendent perfection of the patience. And also, when we listen dharmas, talking about virtues, and we are more enthusiastic, the explanation of the activity, compassions. Compassion's activities, virtue, meritorious, beneficial. We interest, we want to do, very much joyful, day and night concerning the compassion's activities. And negative activities, we are trying through our compassions to stop, and very much enthusiastically. And that is the great transcendent perfection of the diligent. And when we listen to the Dharma, which is the explanation of the compassion and the wisdoms, wisdom aspect, we are more approach nature of the realities. Mind is become more free from the hope, fear. Mind itself become more fearless. Mind is become more powerful, more great realizations. And also mind very much authentic, conservative, or the awareness. Compassion aspect, understanding the luminosity, inevitable of the causalities. And we become the more kind of the caring the causalities. And therefore, when we listen Dharma, explanation of the compassion and wisdoms, we extending our mind, large, big, powerful, and genuine realization. And that is the great perfection, transcendent of the wisdoms. And there are such benefit when we listen to the Dharma. It's not kind of saying something mysterious histories. It's not saying something is like important to put faith, devotions. It's talking about the truth of compassion, truth of the wisdom, truth of the relative truth, truth of the absolute truth. When we listen to the Dharma, like kind of insulting, putting into our minds the seed of the liberations, each moment. Therefore, we're talking about the path and the bhumis. And therefore, to listen to the Dharma, it is not only the 6 transcendent perfections. There are different, many we are doing or we are installing or collecting into our minds. Person listen to the teachings should practice the 6 transcendent perfections in such this kind of the ways. And also other mode of the conduct. The Vinayana Sutta says, do not teach those who have no respect. And also, I want to say the teacher itself, when you become the teacher, Dharma teacher, when you teach in the Dharma, authentic Dharma, also teacher itself also naturally the transcendent, the 6 transcendent perfections in such a way can do it. Like openly, directly, unmistakably, teaching Dharma, great generosities, and to have the discipline, and there is no partialities, impartially. The listeners, each individual, they have different capacities, they have different temperaments or the faculties, and the teachers concerning that, the level of the listeners unmistakably teaching, and they follow the discipline. There is the great perfection of the discipline. And also student ask again and again the hesitations, doubts. Teacher is the never become the tired or something is fed up. As much as they ask questions to clarify their hesitations, doubts, they can practice great patience. That is the transcendent perfection of the patience. And also hours, day and month, how long they need to teach to the student needs the Dharma teachings. They never care, very happily, joyfully, and they diligently they teach. That is also 6 transcendent perfection of the diligent. And also teachers concentrate on the meaning of the Dharma, concentrate the explaining the meaning of the Dharma, not kind of distracted any kind of negative emotions. Focus on the meaning of Dharma, focus on the teaching of Dharma, focus on the benefit for the disciples. That is the transcendent perfection of the meditative concentrations. And also, when they have student hesitations and doubts, when they ask to the teachers, any kind of the perspective, sutra or tantras, and very clearly answer, and unmistakable answer, and correct answer. That is the perfection, transcendent perfection, the wisdoms. And therefore, also teachers listen, everybody, there's such a way to do the 6 transcendence. Here is they say, some others also is the conduct. During the teachings, also we need to, some negative conduct abandoned. In the Vinayana says, do not teach those who have no respect. If someone's not respect the Dharma, not respect the teachers, not respect the lineages, and better to do not teach. Because if you teach, maybe these receivers receive the negatives. And then it's not really we are using Dharma as Dharma. The Dharma is making create disturbing emotions. And someone has no respect, no interest, then to teach to those beings is not good. Which kind of disrespect or no respect, who cover their head, although in good health, and someone's maybe to cover their head and wearing hat. I mean some kind of the disrespect things. And who carrying the cannons, like umbrellas, weapons, and parasols. Any kind of like this. And the kernel is this stick. And the weapons. And during the teaching times, all these things we need to take out. Or those hid and sweat in tumbles. And like kind of, sometimes we have very strange hat to make like Punjabs. And this kind of like ruining our head or something is a little bit kind of disrespect. It would be better to not do it. And also the Jataka says, take the low seat, cultivate the dignified bearing of the thorough discipline with your eyes brimming with joy, drink in the word like Nita, and be completed, concentrated. That is the way to listen to the teachings. And in the antidote of the taking the low positions, we already studied someone has a lot of arrogance. Its Dharma doesn't come into the heart, our mind, then it's not very good. Therefore it says that take the low seat and cultivate the dignified bearings, very kind, very like candles, calm, and not hurry, not kind of the depressed way. This kind has good behaviously to listen. And even the watching by the eyes, like kind of brimming with your joy, with eye, like kind of the happy looking. And then we need to drink the teacher's teaching, the nectar of the Dharma, and also completed, concentrated. They listen to the teaching of the Dharma, then is Dharma coming into our heart, such great benefit. All from form of the disrespectful behaviors should this to be avoided.